Something unusual took place on Oak Island last week, something the team did not expect at all. It started early in the morning when one of the crew members ran across the dig site, calling out for everyone to come at once. At first, the rest of the team thought it was another sign that would lead nowhere. They had seen many strange signals on this island before. There were old marks in the soil, odd readings, and clues that looked important at first, but later turned out to be nothing. But this time, as they gathered around the open pit, they felt something different. The soil looked wrong. The ground was packed in layers that did not belong to nature. It looked like someone long ago had arranged the earth on purpose, placing one layer on top of the other with care. When the excavator removed the last heavy chunk of dirt, everyone went silent. There was something in the ground, something old, something heavy, and definitely something not from modern times. It was the kind of object that makes the team stop everything and look closer. They knew at once that this was not another random piece of rock. This was something made, shaped, and placed there by human hands. And this was where the story began to shift. What they found that day might connect all the clues they had been collecting for years. It might help explain old theories and bring new meaning to maps, stories, and samples gathered from the island. The crew felt something rare had shown itself, something that could become one of the most important discoveries they had seen in many seasons. The team understood this discovery could help answer long-standing questions. Why were strange metals showing up in the soil tests? Why did parts of the island flood in specific areas? Why did old drill holes show marks of man-made structures deep underground? Many clues had appeared over time, but none had come together clearly. This object might finally bring the pieces closer. It raised many new questions, too. What exactly had they found? Who had left it there? Why was it buried under layers that looked like they had been placed with intention? And how did this object connect to the 200-year-old legend that has kept Oak Island famous? While the rest of the team was dealing with the strange object found in the pit, two scientists on the other side of the island, Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael, were working on their own mystery. They had spent months studying soil and water around the island. It was slow, detailed work that required patience and focus. But recently they had found something strange, metal particles in the soil that did not belong there naturally. These metals were not ordinary. They hinted at something buried underground that had once been touched or worked by people. It was the sort of clue that raised hope without giving answers. The scientists could not confirm what type of metal it was, but they both felt it could lead to something important. The entire team decided to give this location one final push before winter. Time was running out. The days were growing colder and shorter. Oak Island weather can change fast, and when the ground freezes, all digging must stop. If they failed to find anything now, they would have to wait many months before starting again. Everyone stood near the drill site, watching closely as the machine went deeper. Every sound from the drill made them listen harder. Every vibration made them pause. It felt like the season's final chance. Even though treasure was part of the dream, the work meant far more than that. For some, this was a connection to the past. For others, it was a lifetime goal. But everyone shared the same hope, to uncover something real, something that could prove once and for all that Oak Island was hiding more than stories. The team checked all the tools, tested every connection, and made sure no mistakes were possible. The drill whirred steadily, reminding them that the answer could appear at any moment. The island's early winter had always forced them to stop work in the past. Every year, the team had to pack up the heavy equipment and walk away from many unanswered questions. Many times, after months of digging, all they had found was sand, just endless sand mixed with clay. It was painful to invest so much time, effort, and money and walk away with nothing. But this time felt different. The strange metals found in samples, the confirmation of old maps, and the experience of the longtime members all pointed to the same direction.
Something about the ground felt prepared. Something old was waiting. As the drill moved deeper into untouched soil, everyone stood ready. Each time the machine paused or changed tone, someone would step forward to listen. And then the first core sample rose to the surface. The scientists immediately cleaned it and studied it closely. They looked for unusual colors, textures, or small pieces that might show human activity. Soon after, they noticed something sticking out from one of the samples, a piece of dark metal. It was shaped, not natural. It was thick and hard. This was not rock. This was something crafted.
Long ago, excitement spread across the site. Crew members moved closer, some guessing it might be part of a structure, like a support beam or a lock. Others thought it might belong to an old chest or a tool. Whatever it was, the team treated it with great care. Every new sample was handled gently. The scientists studied each one, brushing away the dirt with hands shaking from cold and excitement. At one point, they noticed small golden-colored particles mixed in the soil. They were tiny, but enough to make everyone's hopes rise. Gold particles are rare in natural soil here. Their presence was a sign that something valuable might be near. But the biggest shock came moments later. As the drill moved deeper, the machine suddenly shook. The sound changed. The drill hit something hard. Not rock, not wood. Something solid and unmoving. The machine could not push further. Everyone understood this meant there was something large underground, something they could not ignore. They had reached something that had been placed with purpose, and they had to dig it out. As the team prepared for one last deep excavation before winter, Rick pointed to a location near the old shipyard garden. He believed this spot had the strongest indicator of hidden structures. This area was marked earlier by the scientists and labeled E514. The soil readings were different here. The water had traces of metals like gold and silver. And based on old maps and the layout of tunnels, this location made sense. It could be part of a system built long ago for storage or protection. The team worked with more care than before. Every member had a different reason for being part of this mission. Some hoped for historical proof. Others dreamed of treasure that would change their lives. Some simply wanted the world to remember their names as the ones who solved the Oak Island mystery. But no matter what their personal goals were, they worked together. They checked all lists, all equipment, all notes again and again. They wanted nothing to go wrong in this final attempt. The drill team began pushing downward. They planned to go 50 to 60 feet, then drill sideways to try to find tunnels. It was dangerous and difficult work, but the team felt this spot could be the key. If they found even a small room, even a tiny chamber made by human hands, it would change everything.
Answers easily. Many times before, the team had drilled with high hope, only to see sand rise from the tube. Sand, clay, water, these had become the most common results. Even when they found something interesting, it was often too small or too unclear to confirm anything. And this season brought the same challenge. The early cold winds came again, telling the team that their time was limited. When sample after sample came up full of sand, disappointment settled in. But the team kept working. Even the smallest unusual piece made them discuss and rethink their theories. At times, they wondered if the sand and clay were placed on purpose long ago to protect something important. The idea made sense. Many ancient builders used layers of sand as a form of protection, but without proof, no one could confirm it. As the end of the season neared, the team had to shut down. They cleaned machines, packed sample bags, and reviewed data. They held meetings to discuss what went wrong and what should be changed next time. They looked through all records, blueprints, maps, and core samples. After so much effort, the results were painful. But even then, they made plans to return next year. This cycle had repeated many times: hope, digging, disappointment, then planning again. Yet they always returned. Something about Oak Island would not let them give up. And this year brought new clues that raised hope again. One of the biggest new ideas was the possibility of a tunnel leading from deep underground toward the ocean. This tunnel might be the same one causing water to flood areas near the garden shaft. Some believed it was built long ago as a trap or protection system. If someone had hidden treasure on this island, they would have needed a way to protect it, and a secret flood tunnel would be a perfect method. The team had drilled more than 600 times over the years. Many times they had detected traces of metal in water, which scientists believe could mean something large was buried nearby, but no solid proof had ever come from it. The question grew heavier. Were these signs pointing to treasure, or were they simply natural elements the team misunderstood? Every year after the season ended, the team repeated the same process. They studied samples, reviewed data, brought out old maps, and prepared for the next attempt. This had become a repeating cycle of hope and disappointment, but their determination remained strong. All it took was one tiny clue to bring them back for another year of hard work. This season, the garden shaft area created excitement early on. They found old metal containers buried deep. But when they tried to drill down 95 feet and then sideways, water rushed in, flooding everything. This happened often on Oak Island. Just when they felt close to something meaningful, the ground worked against them. The water, mud, and stone made everything slow and difficult. Still, the team pushed forward. They focused on a location called the Baby Blob, hoping for new clues. But it gave them nothing. So they moved again, this time toward the northeastern area, hoping they had chosen the right spot. After so much effort, years of searching without a major breakthrough, even the smallest signal felt huge. 3 new sites near the Money Pit area grew more interesting as the season continued. One of them, known as Aladdin's Cave, was a deep water-filled hole where the team found old wooden pieces and metal fragments. These were not major finds, but they brought new discussions. The team now treated every small object with seriousness. After years of being misled by false clues, they believed even a small detail could be important. Oak Island had become less about treasure and more about the ongoing search. Every year, a few objects were found: old wood, metal, parchment, tools, or even parts that might belong to an ancient book cover. These finds made the team believe they were close to something big, but the final answer remained far away. The Oak Island project started with a simple dream. 2 brothers from Michigan wanted to solve a mystery they had read about as children. Their hope grew into a massive operation with heavy machines and experts from all fields. Now, every time something small appears from the ground, the entire team discusses new theories. Those pieces might be part of a chest, a tunnel, a room, or a hidden chamber. But the truth was always unclear. Oak Island had also become something more than an excavation site. It had turned into a story told year after year. Each season ended with new clues, new hopes, and new questions. The audience waited for the next chapter. The researchers waited for the next chance. And the island waited with its secrets buried deep underneath. After all the digging, drilling, flooding, hope, and disappointment, the question that returns each year is simple. Is the treasure real, or has Oak Island simply become a place where people chase hope? But even without a final answer, the team still returns. Their bond, their determination, and the thrill of discovery keep them going. And this year, the object found in the layered soil and the strange metals detected by the scientists have once again brought new energy into the search. The team believes they are close to something meaningful. Maybe it is a tunnel. Maybe it is a chamber. Maybe it is a large, hidden structure. Whatever it turns out to be, the story continues. The island still holds secrets. Ancient hands once shaped the ground, and every small clue seems to whisper that something important remains buried there. The team will return, just as they always do,
ready to continue the search for the truth that has stayed hidden for more than 2 centuries. Thank you for staying with this journey through the latest discoveries on Oak Island. Share your thoughts in the comments, like and share the video, and stay with me because the next part of this mystery is on the way. As the team prepared to leave the island for the season, the atmosphere felt heavy, not just because of the cold weather, but because of the weight of unanswered questions. Every year they packed up tools, loaded equipment, and stored away boxes of samples. But this year felt different. The strange object found in the layered soil kept replaying in everyone's mind. It had a shape that no natural stone could have, and the fact that it came from a spot where the soil looked arranged on purpose made the team wonder if someone from centuries ago had hidden something far more important than they could imagine. Even when the machines were shut down, the team continued to talk about theories. Some believed the object might be a piece of an old structure, something carved from metal or stone and placed underground long before modern tools existed. Others believed it might be a clue pointing to a buried chamber, a structure that had collapsed or been sealed intentionally. There were endless questions about who might have hidden it. Pirates, Templars, early explorers, or perhaps an unknown group that had knowledge of advanced construction techniques. Rick kept thinking about the soil layers. They were far too organized to be natural. Layers like that are usually seen in places where people want to hide or protect something. The island had many traps and flood systems, so this idea was not impossible. But until they returned next season and dug deeper around that object, they would never know the truth. Meanwhile, Marty spent time reviewing all the scientific data with Ian and Fred. The metal traces in the soil and water had been found consistently in that area. This was not random. Metal does not simply appear deep in the earth unless it has a source. If the source was something valuable, like gold or silver, it could mean they were very close to the heart of the island's mystery. But if it was something else, like old rusted tools or parts of a collapsed structure, it still could hold historical importance. Fred believed the readings were stronger than anything found in past years. The instruments had picked up levels of metal that suggested more than one small object underground. Instead, it seemed like something big was below, something that could spread across the area, something that could be a chamber, a vault, or even an underground room built long ago. Ian felt the same way. He believed the island still held many secrets, and this location could finally reveal something real. As they sat down to discuss the next year's plan, the team decided they would focus heavily on the area around E514. They wanted to drill wider holes and use new imaging tools to scan the ground. They also planned to dig a larger excavation pit to reach the object directly. But this would require heavy machinery, more planning, and permits for deeper digging. The team knew it would take time, but they were willing to wait. During one of the meetings, the team brought up the old maps again. Some of the drawings showed strange lines and shapes in areas close to the new discovery. These markings could be tunnels or old paths used by whoever worked on the island centuries ago. The team realized the old maps might be more accurate than they once thought. If the drawings matched the clues found this year, it could connect everything together. Craig spoke about the patterns found in the soil. The sand mixed with clay appeared unusual at certain depths. These layers could have been placed to protect a chamber from being found easily.
Many ancient builders used clever techniques to hide their structures, and sand was often used for this purpose. If that was the case here, it meant someone went through great effort to hide something important. The idea made the team more determined than ever. They believed they were not just chasing legends, but uncovering a real historical effort. Someone had worked hard to bury something on Oak Island, and they had done it with intelligence and purpose. This raised another question that the team often discussed. How many people were involved in the original construction? Some believed it could not have been done by a small group. The amount of work required to build tunnels, move heavy stones, and create flood systems suggested a large team, possibly with advanced knowledge of engineering. The deeper they studied the island, the more complex the story became. While going through old documents, Marty picked up a report from 2019 again. The thick wooden beams and old pickaxe found in borehole RF1 had strange marks on them. Some believe the marks belonged to a Scandinavian group. If that theory was true, it could connect Oak Island to early explorers from hundreds of years ago. Each of these clues added another piece.
Puzzle. Another moment from the past came to mind. In 2017, when the team discovered parchment and a leather-like material nearly 180 feet underground at borehole H8, it stirred wild theories. Some believed the parchment belonged to a lost ancient manuscript. Others thought it might lead to the famous chapel vault, a rumored hidden chamber containing valuable artifacts. That discovery had brought a lot of excitement, but no final answers. The team hoped the new object found this year would bring them closer to the truth. As the season continued to replay in their minds, the crew remembered the challenges they faced, the sudden floods, the collapsed areas, and the hard clay that slowed the drills. These were reminders that Oak Island was not a simple place. It had traps, natural barriers, and a layout that made exploration extremely tough. Some believed these obstacles were part of the larger protection design built long ago. Even Aladdin's cave brought fresh ideas, despite being flooded and difficult to explore. The old wooden pieces found there made the team think about underground systems that might connect across the island. If chambers and tunnels were linked, the object found near the shipyard garden could be part of a larger structure, something that spread below the surface in ways they had not yet imagined. These thoughts made the team eager for the next season. They wanted to return with new energy and better tools. They wanted to dig deeper, explore wider, and test every theory with more accuracy. The excitement felt stronger this year because of how close they might be. Even though many people outside the island saw only the big machines and dramatic scenes, the team knew the real work was in the small details. Every sample bag, every soil test, every core tube, all of these held clues. Some of the most important discoveries on Oak Island had come from tiny objects no bigger than a fingertip, and that thought kept everyone motivated. While packing up the last of the equipment, the team felt a mix of frustration and hope. They were disappointed that the season had ended before they could uncover the object fully, but they were hopeful because the clues felt stronger than ever. It was rare to find such clear signs in one season: strange metal traces, shaped objects, layered soil, and blocked drill paths. These clues together felt like something big was waiting below. As they walked away from the site, some members paused to look back at the ground. The dig area was covered, quiet, and still. But beneath that calm surface, the island was holding on to a story that had refused to reveal itself for more than 200 years, a story that had pulled countless people into its mystery. And the team believed that next year could finally bring them closer to the truth. They left the island with one thought in mind: the mystery was not finished. Something deep underground was waiting, something old, something important, something man-made, and they would return to find it. When the team finally boarded